Hello, my name is Mike Hugos, and this is a short introduction to work we did with a real company that makes furniture in Indonesia and ships to companies around the world. We worked with them to apply the sales and operations planning process and simulate their supply chain to look for different options to expand the supply chain to support their business. It begins by thinking of a supply chain as a combination of four entities: products, facilities, vehicles, and routes. Define them, place them on a map of the world, and you have a very accurate model of a supply chain that a wide range of people can understand and use. So let's take a look. When we start with products, you've got facilities, vehicles, and routes. So we'll make them new. We'll just start a few, and then we'll look at the full supply chain that is already developed for the Java Furniture Company. You can see it only requires a little bit of information, so it's a very small data set needed to create a very accurate supply chain model, and the results of the simulations from this model are very informative, and again, everyone can see them, not just supply chain experts. So we've got products defined. Now let's define a couple of vehicles, or facilities, excuse me. So what you see is the same thing. Every time you click on one of the four entities, you can create, in this case we're creating a warehouse and then we have default values, and you can always type in the real values if you have better numbers. So that's what we're doing here. And again, a very small data set enables you to accurately define this facility. Then we assign products to the facility. Again, in this beginning demonstration, we've only got 2 products, but you can see this is a warehouse, so there's no demand, but there is quantity on hand. The same thing with the lumber product. So we assign that. We can change that. We've added it. Now let's zoom in, because when we place this facility on the map, we don't just have a port somewhere on Java. We have specifically this port right here in the city of Semarang. Let's take a look at that. Let's zoom in even closer. So imagine, as you're explaining what you're doing to a wide audience, everyone can understand this. There it is. It's right there. See, right there. We're going to save that. And now let's create one more facility. We'll make the factory. We'll show that. Again, there are default values. You can type in if you have better numbers. And again, when we place this on the map, it will be the location where the real factory exists. So as you're doing this, everybody that you're working with in this supply chain project, from senior management to people right there at the scene of the action, to marketing people, finance people, everyone can understand. And this common understanding is what is so important to make all of this work. So let's pull back. We're going to switch over to the map view. We're going to find that exact factory. It's up there. There it is, a little bit further along right there, Tegal. The factory is right there on the coast in Tegal. We're going to zoom in further. And again, it really makes what could otherwise be a very abstract notion, a supply chain, makes it very real. Everyone can understand. So that is the value there. Now let's assign we're going to create a vehicle which will then be delivering products back and forth between the port and the factory. So you can see we're choosing a medium-sized truck. We're making some adjustments in the operating parameters. And then once we've got that truck, and actually this is going to represent 7 trucks, not just a single truck. So now we're going to assign routes. That fleet of 7 trucks is required to deliver products to the factory from the port, and then pick up products, finished furniture, at the factory and bring it back to the port. So we're defining that route. When we take a look, there it is. We add that, close that box there, and then switch to the map view, and you can see here's what, if that route is the right route, you can accept it. You could also drag and drop that and make it go along other roads. Now what we're going to do is define how much product will be picked up by those trucks and how much product will be delivered. So you can see very quickly, and if you try to overload the trucks, so of course it'll tell you. So now I'm going to have to make it a little bit. All right, there we go. So now we've defined both the delivery quantities of the lumber and the pickup quantities of the furniture. All right, let's try simulating this. We've defined that model. Now what we're going to bring in online here will be the entire model, the actual model that we created while working with this company that we've changed the name to Java Furniture Company, but their problem was they were in the process of expanding their business and they wanted to evaluate different supply chain options. What we're seeing here is the simulation of their actual supply chain. And as we start to flip through the simulation screen, the different tabs, we can see the products that are moving through that supply chain. And everything that is being generated by the simulation is being saved in the console. And later on, we can download all of that to do even more analysis. So what this is doing while the supply chain simulation is running is giving, again, everybody, regardless of their technical or business background, a clear, common understanding of how this supply chain works. All right, we've found a problem. And that's what this is doing, is it's and we'll get to this later, but this is comparing and reconciling the supply plan with the demand plan. The supply chains are about meeting demand with available supply. It tells us in the plan we are proposing there is a problem in the store number 1 in Jakarta. We can actually zoom in and take a look. It certainly helps to discuss what's going on when you can actually see it. So we're leveraging power of Google Maps to do this. Let's take a look at the street view. Look at this. This really gives people a clear idea of what we're talking about. And again, regardless of where they are, regardless of their business function, we need to deliver more products to that store in Jakarta. And we are looking at the loading dock. There's a loading dock. It looks to me like we need to use medium-sized trucks, and it looks to me like we can definitely deliver more product to that store. So we know already a lot about what the vehicle can be on that delivery route. It's got to be a medium-sized or a small truck. All right, so we make those changes. We go back, we take a look. All right, now if the vehicle that is making those deliveries is actually based at the furniture factory, we can see that the delivery route is shown there in blue on the screen. Let's increase the amount of product being delivered. So this is that interactive nature that you go back and forth. The computer will show you where problems develop, and then it gives you information for human beings to decide what to do. Human beings are the creative and collaborative element that we have seen over and over again really make supply chains work. Excessive amounts of computerization often cause confusion because of their complexity and because people are unable to really use them well. So what we're showing here is a simple cloud-based platform that we used with the Java Furniture Company that enabled people in Europe, in North America, and in Indonesia to collaborate online, to look at simulations like this where everyone can see what's going on, and you can see as the simulation runs through, it checks all the math. It does the thousands of calculations and finds out where your problems might be. And then you can download all of this data to create further reports. So to summarize this, what we have is we're applying this 5-step sales and operations framework, which is a standard best practice. APIX and many of the other professional societies are advocating this. A lot of companies are using it. The Java Furniture Company they use it on a rolling 60-day schedule instead of a 30-day schedule, which is more the norm. But the idea here is that everybody involved in that supply chain, from sales to purchasing, even to some of their suppliers, can see what's going on. And whether you're doing this either on a regional basis or a local basis, you can do the same thing within a given city as well. So when when what we saw in the video right before was that we were defining the products and the facilities. That is what really defines your demand. What will be demanded and at what facilities will that demand occur? Then your supply plan is you define how you deliver products to those facilities to meet that demand. And that's what we're doing here. That gives you the vehicles and the delivery routes and frequencies and the drop and pickup quantities that will be used. So now you take that data that you just did in the first 3 steps and use it to create your model and then begin running your model. The model will find where there are problems. Typically you want the supply plan to meet demand. You don't want to adjust demand to meet supply. Certainly that's most businesses would rather take that approach. But nonetheless, once you do that, what works best in the simulation will also work best in the real world. And then when you put it into place, imagine being able to track what is going on moment to moment. What we're showing here and what actually happened with the Java Furniture Company was a bridge over a river on the delivery route went out for repairs, and they had to come up with a different way. So again, what you're seeing is everybody can participate in a very meaningful way. Everyone can understand. The simulations are deliberately designed for a wide audience, not just a small group of experts. Thank you very much.